Hi, AD. Would you describe yourself as an artist or a manifestation of art?
I would describe myself as more of a manifestation of art, mainly in the region of the 1920s. The reasons that I pinpointed the 1920s in particular, it goes back to the fact that I've always been intrigued by the jazz era. I've read a lot of works by H.P. Lovecraft, and I've also fell in love with an actress from that period named Louise Brooks. I'm actually a reincarnation of another actress from that era, but which I do not like to say who it is.
So you mentioned Louise Brooks.
Yes.
For people unfamiliar with her career, can you give us a brief summary of her colourful life on and off screen, and tell us why you identify with her so strongly?
Started at the age of 15 a dancing career which led into the filming career. Now, her first film was The Street of Forgotten Men, which was produced by Lasky, and her last feature film was Overland Stage Riders of 1938, in which John Wayne was his first appearance. The reason for Louise Brooks was I used to collect a lot of sci-fi and horror memorabilia. On this particular occasion I went to see Comic Book Steve. He just happened to have a pile of books, and he had this book entitled Lulu in Hollywood, to which the name Louise Brooks was on the front, and I thought, why does that name seem familiar? And when I saw the face, I just thought, I'm buying it. The first question I asked was she still alive? Every time I kept picking this book up with the same question in my head, just got fascinated by her, even though I didn't know, I've never heard of her before in this waking life. I went to an auction in about 3 years ago at Cuddlestones in Wolverhampton. Came across a collection of film stills. Put my hand in the box, lifted it. This picture, which you see here, was actually what I actually saw when I lifted the first pile up. This picture is not actually listed anywhere in the archives. It is actually an original photo, and I call it a soul trapper because this is the actual picture that changed my appearance.
Bearing in mind that you're so attached to the past,
Yeah.
are you actually comfortable with life in the 21st century?
I'm not comfortable with life in the 21st century for few simple facts. Society today is using the wrong technology, the wrong ideology. It's all based around war, famine, how to knock each other across each other's heads, and etc.
Westworld TVF.
You've created a time-travelling model in your home.
I didn't even realise what I was building when I built it. It was kind of in the year of 6 this century. I was just picking up random bits and pieces when I was on the postal round, and I got all these bits and pieces, and then all of a sudden I just had this plan in my head of, at the time I was into Doctor Who, but I had an idea of just replicating the TARDIS, because to begin with I was starting with a Dalek, and then I scrapped the idea and decided to do a TARDIS instead because everybody else was doing a Dalek. And then next thing I thought, I'll get a metal shed. I just bought all these bits and pieces, not realising why I bought them, and then I just started to put this thing together. And then when I put it together, the original idea was that I'd put a tape in a tape monitor, and the static ball would be dancing to the music. I did that, and I thought, there's nothing doing. Turn the volume off. Next thing, the shed lifts up in the air, and this sound wave comes, and it's like, oh my god, what's this? And then on this, when I went to sleep the same night, I had this dream. I went to this fantastic place. It was a massive house with a massive fireplace, and there were these like statues of cats which started, well, telling me things I'd not realised before. Science and future. Nikola Tesla, when he'd developed some of these projects, he was visited by a Nordic female.
And how long did it take you to build it?
We put it together in 3 days.
Who and you put it together? Who put it together with you?
I had a friend called Mickey G, as he likes to be known as. There's one called David Benny. I mean, basically these people, I mean, they're absolute ganja heads, right?
What was the toughest part of building this machine?
Putting this shed together, funny enough, because it was a metal shed, like a Meccano set, but the plans had been double exposed, and there was, and you know when like you get double of the image, and it makes it look thicker, and you're trying to work out, is it that hole or that hole? The screws. Oh, it was ridiculous.
Do you actually consider it a piece of artwork?
I don't can really consider it art. I consider it more of a future piece.
So you don't plan to exhibit it or anything outside of here?
I'm actually seeing if I can build some more and put them in strategic points, mainly in ley line areas like Chapel Ash. Ley lines are energy paths. What tends to happen is a lot of the time these energy paths, you may got a lot of spiritual entities.
So you feel that the machine has some kind of a force?
Yeah. This machine, which is what I call an ASRUD, it is an audio symmetrical relay and dimensional energizer. The idea of the machine is when you activate it and you start meditating, it puts you into a state of creating your own reality. So, in other words, if I put this machine on and then after a usage of it, I will go out and do my daily duties, but I will disperse all negativity, that it's all analogue.
A future piece,
Yeah.
called it, and you're intrigued by this woman from the past. So where do you think the two things come together?
I think it's a timepiece where like I create my own time, my own destiny. I call it a unified field operator, otherwise UFO.
And if you could exhibit it, do you have an ideal venue?
I mean, Chapel Ash is one I'd like to do. It's at the actual triangle. We've already come up with an idea of putting the machine in that actual building to try and get rid of white noise and negative energy.
What other artwork do you actually do?
If I was to describe what my artwork is, I brought my dreams out. I do tailoring. I've made dresses and hats. I have also done drawings, photography, I've created music, played guitar, made films, sculpturing.
And have you exhibited your work anywhere?
I did an exhibition for Creative Connections at the Adult Learning Centre in Wolverhampton. To exhibit the machine, I've had to have it filmed and then have it done in a way where there's two screens in the room and then have the sound waves coming from it. It was awkward to bring in here because we had loads of other furniture in here as well.
Small space.
Yeah.
Now, do you have anywhere that people that might be interested can see any of your artwork?
Well, when the next Junction Festival is on, I'm planning to actually do more work in this property and turn it into like a museum of time.
You're going to be actually producing some programmes for a local radio station in Wolverhampton.
WCR, yes. The first programme will be dealing with the subject of metaphysics and its relation between the 1920s, the way it is now. The second programme will be music from the 1920s era, which will be playing from an actual gramophone. The third programme will be American psychedelia. The fourth programme, which I'll be calling Open Air, is basically it can be anything. It's just a choice.
How do you deal with people when they start prying into your private life because of the way that you look? Do you get picked on?
I refer myself as transgenic regressive disorder. Basically, I have the mental age of a centurion. I'm 50 years in physical form, but I'm 110 mentally. I've basically gone back to my ancestry. I'm okay because at the end of the day, I come with this philosophy: if people have got nothing better to do, then they must be very bored. And if they find me so fascinating as to poke fun, or they need to sort themselves out perhaps, or maybe they've got things in their lives that they need to sort out, and rather than address them, they just go for the next easiest thing to pick on.
This guy has big cojones.
More than you and me.
Who was it Buster Rhymes once says? They hate me because they ain't me.